Welcome to Rainbow Soul Podcast, where our soulstrology comes forward to help you manage your everyday life, with forecasts and deep dives on natal charts and queer perspectives on the planets, transits, and more. A group discussion about upcoming transits with tips on how to read these transits in your own chart. Hollis offers years of wisdom and natal chart knowledge with Bright Hawk's positive perspective and Lacrosse's inquiry. We offer the complete queer astrology experience. Welcome to Rainbow Soul. Please help us by subscribing, sharing, and commenting and reviewing. You can also learn where else Rainbow Soul is offered on our website at rainbowsoul.show.
Hello! Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Rainbow Soulstrology Forecast. I'm Hollis Taylor. I'm one of your astrologers, and
this is Bright Hawk. Hello.
We're so glad you're tuning in today. Thanks for being here. Hi, Brandy. Good to have you with us today. It's great to have you here. And, we are... Hi, Tracy. It's good to have you with us. We are offering this week's astrology. So I just want to say that, there's a lot, there's often a lot going on, but I would say that, this week there's a little bit going on, but it's not, I wouldn't say there's some more intense weeks coming up later.
Yeah, I think it's a collective catch a breath, folks. Take a breather, pat yourself on the back. You've gotten through all of the major intensity so far this year. We have a little more coming up.
It might be a little surprise this
some
week.
Bigger planets change signs. I think everyone's going to feel that. But, one step at a time.
Yeah, so let's take a few minutes to ground and center, okay? So I want to invite you to take a deep breath. And take this moment to rest in your seat. And allow yourself to just relax in the moment. And imagine yourself outside under a beautiful night sky with the full moon shining bright. And you can feel the rays on your skin, the moonlight making everything feel like it's glowing. And you can feel your connection to water because there's a body of water near you. Maybe it's the ocean. Maybe it's a lake. A river. And the moon is reflecting off of that water. And you can feel the moon glow penetrating the water within you. All of the water in your body answering to the moon glow pouring down on you right now. And as you stare up at the moon, you put your hand on your heart and you welcome the energy of change and transformation to run through the deep waters of you. The energy of mystery, the energy of the underworld, your connection to the other side. All of that is deeply connected to your waters within. And we realize that each and every one of us are connected to the waters of the earth, the waters in our body, and the moon that pushes and pulls those waters. And I invite you to take this second to just allow and become present in the here and now. To come back to your body right now. To come back, feel your body, and feel yourself present in this moment. Stretch your fingers, wiggle your toes, open your eyes. Well done, Bright Hawk.
Well, thank you. That was a lovely meditation.
All right. So, everyone, today is actually the full moon. I think it's actually like happening. I think it actually already happened, technically. But it's been.
But it's today. Just so
Yeah,
you know.
it's today.
Today.
Alyssa, could you hear her music okay? Someone commented and said the music was a little off. Like it was
like the
sound was off. Not that you were messing it up. Yeah, like the sound was off. And so I was just, double checking.
If it's a very, very, very helpful thing if you can validate we hear you well or we don't hear your, we can hear Hollis but not Bright Hawk or whatever.
Yeah.
We can't fix it if we don't know, and it's hard to know what's going on the other side.
Right, exactly. So just, just checking in. So just let us know if the music doesn't come through correctly so we can adjust whatever's going on. I thought we had it fixed, but I don't know. So, anyway, so let's bring up the this right here,
The charts.
and because words aren't flowing out of my mouth in the appropriate way today.
Clicking and speaking and all that all at the same time. Look at that big, beautiful mystic rectangle.
Right, and then there's also a yod. So I feel like
It
the
sure
the full moon today is gonna bring in a lot
faded.
Yeah, it's a lot of faded energy today.
Yeah.
I just felt like it's a lot of fate going on. So if you guys are experiencing whatever you're experiencing today, just know that it's meant to happen. It's meant to be just like this, just as this way. And there's lots of opportunity to get things done and for things to happen in a good way because there's all those blue lines, which are generally blessings. There might be something that could be a little bit hard to accomplish today with that yod. But I think whatever it is, you'll get it done. You won't really have much choice in the matter. You'll just kind of go forward and get it done. I think it's just going to kind of happen. And so I feel like that's, and see, the full moon was this morning at 11 a.m., 10:54.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I think today's energy is very faded. I think that's really what you're going to feel. I think that's that yod pointing at the moon and with the moon forming that mystic rectangle. I tried to make it so it really stood out. And that's what time this is for. This is actually, I think it's for this afternoon. It's a couple hours ago. But, so as it comes forth, it's meant to, whatever's happened for you today is faded. And I think to just know that sometimes can be helpful.
Well, I resonate with this chart because my chart looks a lot like that. I have a yod, I have a mystic rectangle. It's taken me a really long time to understand and kind of fully appreciate the mystic rectangle. But now that I understand a lot more about astrology, a mystic rectangle is made up of 2 trines and 2 sextiles. That makes the box. And so we know that trines are big blessings in astrology and sextiles are also blessings, but usually there's a little bit more action required, if you will. And so that's really interesting to see the moon, a full moon like that in Scorpio. So full moon in Scorpio, Scorpio, of course, is a water sign. It's also fixed, and its ruler is Venus. Is ruler is
Taurus or Libra.
I mean, Scorpio's ruler.
Oh, Scorpio's ruler is Mars and Pluto.
Mars and Pluto. Thank you. Thank you. I was having
a brain fart.
I know I don't have this right, so. Mars and Pluto.
Which have already been in a conversation, but they've already moved on. They're not a big part of this conversation, except that Pluto's in a square to Mercury, and I don't think that's. I mean,
what we say is when the moon is in Scorpio, it answers to the ruler of Scorpio. So that's why we want to know who the rulers are, and the rulers of Scorpio are Mars and Pluto. So of course, Pluto's hanging out just 60 degrees away in Aquarius, and so it's a friendly, easy conversation. Hey, how's it going? and Mars now is in Leo, so not a significant aspect at any rate. But what a cool chart for the day.
Yeah, and mystic rectangles in themselves are pretty faded. So from what I understand, mystic rectangles are pretty faded. So I think with the yod being faded and the mystic rectangle, I think most of what comes together for you, easy or hard today, is all about fate. It's all about what was meant to be. And I think that's an important thing to remember about today.
Yeah.
Now, the moon does go void, of course, but not until after midnight.
Right, because it's going to leave Scorpio. It's already at 23 degrees, so void for just a few hours. So those of you at the night shift, we try to remind you what's going on the void moon.
Right, so it was just a couple hours, so I went ahead and added it to this slide too. because I feel like tomorrow is actually a really beautiful day with
Look at that big trine.
that beautiful grand trine, and it's a kite, really.
Yeah, grand trine and fire.
Mm-hmm. And I felt like I was like, well, grand trine and fire, it's really good. That's really good for tapping into your passions, or
Yeah, if you want to take action on something, the kite lifts up towards Mars, which is all about take action. And wow. Okay.
yeah,
And then the moon is in, so everything that's in a fire sign. Mars is in a fire sign in Leo. And of course, Mars rules Aries. The moon is in Sagittarius, which it likes to be in. It sparkles in Sag. And of course, the other side is Aries. Which one? Venus?
it's actually Venus is mostly part of the kite.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Venus.
Wow, that's really cool.
Venus and Neptune. I mean, you know.
I like it. I like it. I feel good about that.
I feel like it's a lot of good energy. If you happen to be doing something in relationship, that would be good. Anything that has to do with money or good positive day, actually. I feel like this is the best day of the week. Um because it will just be easy. There won't be any major surprises or anything like that, and I think that it will just go smooth, which is great news for us because we're traveling. So this is exactly the kind of energy you want for travel.
This is great.
There is a T-square in the background, but it's been there since last week. It's actually the nodes and Saturn squaring Jupiter in Gemini, and I think that has a lot to do with what we're seeing in our government and sort of what's going on in the background. And so if you're feeling like, oh my God, Hollis, what's gonna happen with that crap? I'm gonna just say that it is gonna boil over at some point. It's just a matter of time, and a matter of certain things coming to fruition. It will boil over, and all the people are gonna come together probably this summer. That's when it's gonna get super hot. So especially with all that energy in Aries. But right now it's just kind of boiling. It's almost like bad music in the background. So that's that T-square. It's sort of like bad music in the background, and you're just
hearing. What is that?
What is that? Turn that off, right? Okay, so it will get turned off eventually, just not right now.
That's very funny. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, so just so you know, and then as we go forward, I guess I was just writing yesterday. What I started to notice is that this day, on Wednesday, is pretty blessed as well, mostly. But what I started noticing was that towards the end of the day, another T-square begins to form. And you can just see it starting to form here at about dinner time, mountain time. So that's about 7 p.m. on the East Coast.
Okay.
The moon comes into a second T-square with the nodes plus Saturn plus the other T-square on the other side with Jupiter. And I just felt like two T-squares going in opposite directions. The sun's not quite to Uranus yet. And I just feel like Wednesday, you probably will notice most of the day be really good. And you probably won't notice anything that night, but what I'm telling you is that it will amp up. I will say that during the day, I feel like the sun in Taurus, with a lot of the energy pointing to that, that's a lot of loyalty, and a lot of staying straight on our, like, I feel like when the sun is in Taurus, it reminds us of our promises. We make promises. You know, that's why sometimes witches will even have initiations to their covens in the spring. During the sun in Taurus, because that's a time to make commitments. Okay, so if you find yourself making commitments or fulfilling commitments or following through on something,
a million spring weddings.
Right, and that's a great time. Springtime is a great time to get
We got married.
married.
We just had our anniversary.
Yep. We got married in May. So our anniversary
Under a grand trine of fire.
we did in the Valley of Fire.
In the Valley of Fire.
By the
with the family of fire.
With the family of fire, and then someone that calls themselves the goddess of fire or
The
something.
priestess, yeah.
High priestess of fire or something.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Oh my gosh. It's hilarious. Anyway. So then what I noticed
morning madness
was I was like, if you're getting up, and this is at like 4:00 in the morning in mountain time, but if you're getting up at 6 a.m. on Thursday, don't be surprised if you have some morning madness. I just want to prep you for it. That's what I was thinking. Because I was like, well, that's what's going to happen. That's when the big event is going to happen. You can see all those red lines. There's 2 T-squares, plus the moon is in conjunct your commitments that I was just talking about from yesterday. And so there might even be like, you might feel like something's falling through or something's not quite going right or whatever it is. Maybe something you had planned, a commitment or something you had is not going quite the way you thought it would go. So if that happens, I'm just letting you know that's on Thursday. So Thursday is just a little bit of a difficult day, but I do feel like there are those trines to the moon. So just stay true to your commitment to the best of your ability, and I think it will come through.
Yeah, now I know why you were kind of warning, because this is a travel day for us, and we're prepared for things to potentially go sideways. Now, we're also prepared. I'm willing to be, remember this is in my book, The Dancing Hippo, I'm willing to be delightfully surprised by how sweet this life can be. You can fill it in with whatever you want. Sweetness, how easy it can go, how well things can work out. And then I always remind myself of the quote we're always quoting, no doubt the universe is unfolding exactly the way it should. Like, I am fully prepared to let go to the universe and say, y'all know more, know better than me. So before I get my panties in a knot about things aren't working the way I think they should go, oh yeah, there's a larger unfolding. Everything's going to work out fine. Just go with the flow.
Right. Just try to stay in it and just stay committed to your commitment to the best of your ability, because the Taurus part of you will, if nothing else, you'll either push through whatever the challenge is, or you'll just step over it, or it will just pass. I think it will be completely over by 12 Mountain Time or 2:00 in the afternoon. So, it's just that's why I called it morning madness, because it will be over by noonish. Okay. So by the time the moon goes void of course, then of course it's gonna just chillax, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
Because all that's gonna just fade away. Look at that. Okay.
So,
all right.
That's the difference between Tuesday and Thursday. I get it.
So and even Wednesday is kind of okay, but it will amp up that night.
Right.
Okay. And then this is Friday. And the Friday, I felt like it was kind of it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
And there is still that T-square that we've been talking about.
Sure.
Although Saturn has left that conversation, but still the nodes are in a square to Jupiter.
Okay.
So we still might be trying to explore what justice means and things like that, which I think I've talked about that T-square last week, but that's what that T-square is about. It's about, like, are things, like, where's the integrity and where do we draw the line? And I don't know, I drew the line way back low, so just waiting for everybody else to draw their line. My boundaries were crossed way long ago. So
drawing boundaries is, you have perfect permission to speak your boundaries. Usually the only one that gets pissed about you stating your boundaries are the people who benefited from you having none.
But I think that's on a world scale, and I think that's why we're feeling that, like, in our government and stuff.
Right.
I'm kind of like,
man, if you look at it,
I
you know,
mean,
pull back and look at it from a global
that's
perspective.
what I was
Holy
thinking. I
moly.
was like, my
Yeah,
boundaries
right?
were crossed a long time ago. I don't even know. Like,
Oh.
anyway, so, you know, like, I
Mm.
feel like some people are probably figuring out where their boundaries are as far as the world stage goes.
Mm.
And then, of course, the Sun and Uranus are still not completely conjunct yet on Friday. That's actually going to happen this weekend. Now Mars is in a trine with Venus, which is actually really great for money. It's really good for manifestations in relationships and things like that. I feel like that's a positive aspect that could really bring things together. Plus, the Sun is in a positive conversation with the nodes, so I think that conversation, that interaction between the Sun and which is just about conjunct Uranus. It will come into full conjunction, I'm pretty sure, this weekend, and it will be sextile the North Node and trine the South Node. And I just feel like that's really good because it's going to let you push past what needs to change, and there could be some surprises, but I feel like they'll probably be good surprises just
Yeah.
because the Sun is in a trine.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I think that's right on. And good surprises or willing to be delightfully surprised. There you go.
Right, and that's on Friday. And you know, even this day, which is Saturday, in the Grand Trine,
Wow, an
when
Earth trine now.
and with the Sun and Uranus, it's a big surprise about Earth, some sort of big gift or something like that you're going to get or receive, or and I'll tell you where that Sun and Uranus will come into conjunction in your chart. I'll tell you what part of your life in the horoscopes at the end of this. But I'm just going to say that, you know, even though Jupiter is still square the nodes, I still feel like that Grand Trine's going to sort of overstep it and be stronger. And with the kite formation, I really feel like it's pushing us towards our destiny. It will be some sort of blessing this weekend. So I really feel like we have a good week.
Yeah, the strongest part of that trine for sure is Sun and Uranus because you have the moon in Capricorn, and of course, when the moon is in Capricorn, it's all the way across the sky from Cancer, which means when the moon, which rules Cancer, is opposite, it's what we call detriment because it's as far away from home as possible. So it's not the strongest part of that trine, even though it's creeping up to Pluto. And the South Node is strong and steady, and don't be surprised if old relations, past.
Maybe you get some sort of surprise from somebody in your past or somebody from your history.
Yeah.
Maybe they surprise you with something.
Yeah, exactly. But that Sun Uranus, whatever it is, it's going to be a surprise. It'll be something, hopefully a gift. I like the way you said it.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great way to look at it.
Yeah, it'll be some sort of gift or some sort of something that will surprise you, that will be in a positive way. And you know, that night there's no drama. Saturday night for an hour, you know, 10:30 to 11:30. That's a good time to drive home from whatever you do on Saturday night. 10:30 Mountain Time. So of course that's sorry. Of course that's midnight. That is midnight Eastern Time. So, you know, I feel like Saturday, this week is mostly pretty good. The only day it could present some challenges is Thursday. Okay. And then even on Sunday, there is a little bit of an inconjunct with Chiron and the South Node. But I still feel like that is like repeating old patterns or something like that. And I mean, with that square, with Jupiter in a square to the nodes and stuff, it makes me think like there's some sort of crazy politics, screwball stuff going on.
Well, there's been no lack of that, hasn't there?
Right.
And you have the moon passing over Pluto, which always makes me go, I hope there's no earthquakes or tsunamis as a result. Because you have Pluto, which rules all things underground, and the moon, of course, it ebbs and flows with the ocean. So that's always a little concerning.
Yeah. So Thursday, possibly Sunday. But I think Thursday will be more intense than Sunday.
Yeah.
Just because there's 2 T-squares.
Yeah.
So,
but mostly, we're going to go back to the positive because that's what I do. Mostly, it's a good week. And Tuesday, yay! I'm psyched that our travel day and our getting launched into this adventure looks beautiful. Looks
agreed.
Because sometimes you get to pick your travel dates and whatnot, and sometimes you just have to go with what you got. And it's good to know what the astrological weather is, so you have a way of sort of going, okay, well, Thursday morning could be anything.
Right.
So if we're just ready to go with that attitude and not get too bunched up about it, it should be all right.
Right, exactly. And so I think it looks like the change that I made to the sound wasn't good.
Oops.
Anyway,
thanks for letting us know.
Thanks for letting me know, Alyssa.
Can't fix it if we don't know.
Welcome, Carrie. We're glad you made it too, and I'm proud of you for changing your own spark plugs.
Woo! Good job.
Congratulations.
That's great.
Totally
impressive.
Thank you, Alyssa, for the happy anniversary.
Thanks.
Yeah, so you know what you do, Alyssa, is that you do as much as you can the night before on Wednesday night. So that way Thursday morning you leave room for the madness, whatever happens. So then you're kind of prepared for it. Get it? So that's the benefit of having the astrology. So don't fear it. Don't worry about it. Instead, set up for it. Prepare yourself and be ready. And so what I would do is I'd set out my clothes, set out the kids' clothes, get the food ready, set everything up, and try to be prepared. I'm prepared because Thursday is the day that we're supposed to land in Harrisburg, but the train is supposed to land in Pittsburgh. And so I'm thinking, so maybe that train's delayed or something. So I've already got backup plans of what to do. Okay, so that's what I mean, Alyssa. That's the best way to navigate it.
My dad, who was an engineer, would always say, okay, kid, what's plan B? I hear you got a plan A. What's plan B? We'd be like, what? Okay. And then after a while, we learned, I got a plan B and I got a plan C,
So it's going to be a really great week. Just prepare yourself for Thursday morning. Like I said, it'll be over. So it'll probably just be a little bit of busyness, or something might get delayed or something like that. Maybe your alarm doesn't go off right, you wake up late or something like that. Okay, Samantha? So I'm glad that so then you can just kind of prepare for it, leave early. Samantha, if I was you, I would leave early. If I could, I would try to leave, give myself a little extra room to commute in case you hit a traffic jam or something. So that kind of thing.
Exactly, Alyssa.
Exactly, Alyssa. She said, oh, for sure. We usually have everything done the night before anyway, but it's still kind of chuckling about it. Oh, dang, really? Okay, gonna need lots of breathing for that day. Well, and for me, I'd rather know it's going to happen than for it to surprise me. Because when it surprises you, that's the moment where you're caught flat-footed and you're like, now what? So I think the surprise will be Saturday. That will be a great surprise. And that will be really beautiful. I think it will be really blessed just because of the conversations that the sun and Uranus are in during that day. So I think you guys, I'm going to just set up this just a moment.
Right. The charts for the Hollis does the amazing run through all 12 zodiac and tell you what the week will look like for you personally. So this is all about your sun, moon, and rising. You want to listen for all three. If you're wondering what that means, we have on Hollis's website a little helper guide to get you there.
A beginner's guide.
Beginner's guide. Thank you. That helps you understand the big three. And we're always happy to share. And our whole idea is to share our love for astrology, and there's a little bit of educating. You have to kind of educate yourself as you go to understand it's a whole other language, so if you want it to be meaningful, it helps to understand some of these things. So sun and moon and rising.
Yeah, so you can easily find your sun, moon, and rising if you get that guide, or if you just maybe you already know it.
And if you do have your chart and you're looking at it while Hollis gets this together, if you're in late degrees of a sign in your sun, moon, or rising, listen for the next sign. So, for example, I'm a 29-degree Sag. I always listen for Capricorn because both of them blended usually explain everything for me. So whatever that is for you. And usually I'd say 26, 27, 28, 29, listen for the next sign.
Okay.
All right. So are you all set up there?
So, yeah, I think so. I think we're going to go backwards again.
Okay.
Just because it works out better in the timing. So, this is for Aries, sun, moon, and rising. This is for this weekend.
Did you share your screen?
Oh, not yet. This is for this weekend, and I might share the chart with you guys.
But that's why there's two of us, so we can
exactly
kind of cover the bases and help each other remember.
Exactly. Okay, let me actually leave this up and do this.
Oh, there you go. Good.
Does that work?
Yeah. Well, cuts off the chart a little bit, but you'll see what you need to see.
Okay. Yeah. So so this is for this weekend. The big surprise with the Sun Uranus conjunction. And so this is for Aries. This is for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Aries, I want to say that this conjunction with the Sun and Uranus is going to be a surprise in money. It could also be a surprise in investments or money or something like that coming into fruition. It could also be like a surprise around values, like what's important and what you should, what you value in life and what's important to you, and listening to that. So, Aries, if you find yourself with a little bit of surprise money, and it's probably going to be a good thing. It will be helping you move in the direction you're going, even though you don't know where you're going. Don't worry, you'll get there. Don't worry. But maybe something you've invested in the past, or something with some work that you've done, or something like that will pay off. And it will bless you with a bit of money. And so that's for, like I said, that's for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay.
And now skipping backwards, just in case you didn't hear it. Not getting confused.
Yeah, so now we're going backwards.
Pisces.
This is for Pisces. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Pisces, this is going to be very much about your community. This is very much about a surprise about your community, about who shows up, and who's supporting you. And that could be a really great, beautiful blessing, Pisces. So, it could also be about your siblings, or anyone that's like your neighbors, people that, in that kind of relation with you, what I call, people on your side. And so that you're in for a surprise for that this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. So be open for that. Be ready to make connections with those people. Okay. And then Aquarius, every time it goes backwards, I'm like, wait, is that right? Okay. So Aquarius, this is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Oh, wow. This Uranus conjunction will be happening in your house of home. So don't be surprised if something goes on at home, but don't worry, it will be a good thing. It will be a surprise. It could also have something to do maybe with your family of origin, particularly your parents or someone else that in your family of origin that's important, but it will be in relation to your home, possibly an investment in your home or something like that. Especially investments and things like that, only because Uranus probably will have something to do with your home and money, mostly because Uranus and the sun are in your house of home, and Venus, which rules Taurus, which is also rules investments, is in your second house of money. So I would say to Aries, if you're waiting for, sorry, not Aries, Aquarius, if you're waiting for something to come up, Aquarius, in regards to your home and money or investments or anything like that, this weekend is when it's going to come through. This weekend, surprise, surprise. Okay. So hopefully, now it's hard to predict surprises. Just gonna say it's hard to predict surprises, but it will have something to do.
Oxymoronic.
Yeah, it does, and it has something to do. Probably, it could have something to do with your parents. Now, this is for Capricorn. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. This will have something to do with fun, creativity, or things you love to do coming up Saturday and Sunday. Also with children, maybe, or something that has to do with being a blessing, as far as things that you create. So it could be your children or other people's children, and it could certainly be fun or things that you enjoy doing. Those kinds of things will definitely be coming to fruition on Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday. So just be open to that. It's going to come together really easily for you, and it's going to really feel blessed to you, I think, Capricorn. It probably will be a little bit emotionally blessed, but you may not recognize it as emotions, because sometimes you're a little bit grounded about your emotions, right? So just saying that. So with the sun and Uranus conjunct this weekend in your house of fun, romantic relationships, fun things, children, other people's children, and things that you create. Okay. And then the next up is Sagittarius. This would be Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. So Sagittarius, this has everything to do with your day-to-day life. Something big surprise about to change for you Saturday, Sunday. This is going to change your day-to-day life. This is going to change your work possibly, or possibly your health. You could get a positive surprise about your health. Something might surprise you. And so just be open to that and welcoming of that. Could also be about pets, especially small pets. Anything like that, Sagittarius. You're going to have a delightful surprise on Saturday that I think will be delightful for you. I think you'll appreciate it. And, you could even be really grateful about your home. Maybe something is with home. And then with that sun and Uranus conjunct in your sixth house of day-to-day life or your work in the world, that's really gonna help you. And now, Scorpio. This is for Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. Now, Scorpio, this is going to have everything to do with relationships for you. This is going to be about relationships, frankly. Surprise, surprise, something big is about to happen, possibly with siblings, or it could be any kind of relationship, or all of the relationships, frankly. So it could be like your loved one, it could be your partner, your spouse, it could also be your kids and your family and people you work with. Okay, so all relationships, and then and heading towards things more like that are fun and good for you. And it could be very much about romantic relationships and feeding it in a really good way that helps you feel really seen, loved, and celebrated. And it could be very much about consistency, which, Scorpio, I know it's, not exactly your vibe, but some consistency is reassuring to you because, you are a fixed sign, but you do love transformation, Scorpio. So that's pretty much what's going to happen. You're going to have a surprise in relationships over the weekend. Okay, so it'll be Saturday, Sunday. And now for Libra, this is for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Now, Libra, I just want to let you know this has everything to do with with unseen things, right? Okay. This is about unseen things. This is about spirituality, or not so much spirituality as it is about like a cult, like astrology. Maybe you'll be surprised that I predicted this was going to happen. It could be about things that that you are don't really want to talk about, including sex, death, taxes, taboo subjects, things like that, Libra. And as that comes in, just know that it will work itself out. Some sort of surprise will happen, and I think it will be really good for you, and overall it will be a great surprise. So I think you're good to go on that, and it could really shift and adjust your life, your day-to-day life. And I would say that with the Sun and Uranus and Mercury all conjunct, the Sun and Uranus conjunct, I would say that it's really could also be about other people's money. Okay. There could be something about other people's money. Okay. So that's for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And then we're going to go to Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Virgo. Virgo, this is very much for you about spiritual awakenings. This is very much about what you put out in the world and who you are in the world. So this is very much about what you put out in the world, Virgo. So this is it could be your work. It could be other volunteer things that you put out in the world and who you present yourself to be, and including spiritual enlightenment, anything that has to do with higher learning, or things that have to do with your work, or anything like that, including justice. It's what you put out in the world. It's sort of your public image. There could be some sort of surprise in that. Okay, Virgo? And it will be about your life path. I mean, it will be a good surprise, and I think it will be pleasant. And then and then for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this is going to have everything to do with the work in the world. What kind of work you do, and the people that have power over you, including your boss or anyone that has power over you. You might find that there's actually a really good coming of fruition there, of coming of ease for you. Okay. So Leo, just be open this weekend. There could be there's really great blessings coming your way. And I feel like with the Sun and Uranus conjunct, you're about to get a surprise this weekend that I think will be really good for you. Okay. And then we're going to go to Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is very much about your boss and people that have power over you, but also things that are unseen. So it's right on the edge of those two houses. So I'm going to call it to be things unseen. There might be parts of you that just don't see, but a big surprise will come forth from it. And I think that will be really good for you, about the unseen. And it could be maybe you self-sabotage yourself, but it works out as not sabotage this time, or maybe something with a hospital or a nursing home or something else that's typically unseen, including your psychic abilities. In fact, you might have a psychic idea or view or whatever of what's about to happen, and then maybe it actually happens or something like that. So you'd be really surprised. Okay. And then I'm surprised when stuff I say comes true. I'm like, really? Did that happen? Okay. Anyway, for Gemini, you're going to have a very similar thing, Gemini, but with that Jupiter also there, I feel like it's going to be, you might have to reach for something. Okay. You might have to reach out for something that you really want or you really have your mind on, but I think that you'll get it. So don't be afraid to reach. Okay. Like you may be like, you may not see how you have to reach for it at first, but I think you will eventually find it. And then I think in that, you will receive your blessing or whatever that's supposed to happen this weekend. You just might have to reach for it. Oops, wrong way. That's what I was afraid I was going to do. And so now this is for Taurus. This is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Taurus, this is very much about your identity, especially with Uranus trying to head its way out of Taurus with you and the Sun conjunct it. This is like the preparation for the end game of Uranus leaving your sign. I feel like this is like Uranus has been in your sign for a while now. And so it's been a few years, actually. I don't even know how long. It feels like it's been forever.
I know.
But Uranus is about your life path. And so Taurus, Uranus is really going to put you on board. It's going to make sure you're solid. It's probably going to be some sort of surprise, something, maybe you've made some sort of choice or something that's really going to pay off. And you're going to be really happy that you did that. And so I could really feel that you could be really surprised even about your own identity and what you're capable of, Taurus. And I think you might be surprised by your own abilities. Okay.
Wow, that was awesome. Hopefully everybody has a great week. I love that grand trine on Saturday with the kite and the minor grand trine. I think that,
yeah.
May you be delightfully surprised, and we'd love to hear how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes surprises can create reactions. But Alyssa was saying that surprises can create reactions instead of responses. But I think that since it's in a trine, it will be a good thing. It's usually a blessing. Okay. Right. Welcome, Bianca.
Hi there. And now that you know about it, it won't be so shocking. Hopefully, we're helping take the shock element out of it. And instead of it's, oh, this is that. Okay, let's roll with this.
This is that surprise.
Let's be curious.
Yeah.
Let's see what this reveals.
Right. Mm-hmm. And let me know. Like, was it in the area of your life that I thought it would be? I'm glad that you're enjoying this, Jennifer. And
thanks.
Welcome, Kiki. I'm with you, Carrie. I need a good surprise, she said. I'm tired of the bad ones. Like, right? I'm
That's
right
why
there
I
with
always
you.
Clarify it. I came up with this a really long time ago. I think I had been listening to a Deepak Chopra talk, and he talked about how healthy it is to welcome surprise. And I was like, wow, I got to think about this. Welcome surprise. And then somewhere in my meditation, I came up with it and put it in my book and put it on my shirt. And, it works. I just got to say, there was a year that I had that was so intense, and I was working on the book. So I just kept saying, I'm willing to be delightfully surprised. I'm willing. It was my mantra. I just walked around saying it. And then when it came to the big events that I was like, I cannot see how this is going to work out. I just have no idea how it's going to go. And with a, fair bit of trepidation. And after saying that mantra for, I don't know, hundreds, maybe thousands of times, wow, was I delightfully surprised. I could not have predicted how it went down. I was like, oh my God, this is so much better than I could have ever imagined. Who knew? So those are the kind of blessings I wish for you, and hopefully you have a great week. And now Hollis is going to do 3 tarot cards for the past, the present, and the future. And we use the Love is Love deck, which is a pride deck. Each card is made by a different LGBTQIA artist. And they're wonderful. They're such great artists.
They're so great, diverse cards. I love the diversity in these cards.
Yeah.
Look, there's brown people. Okay, just sorry, it's a joke about our racist world. Anyway, so this is in the past, and this is very much about celebration and what you've had to celebrate. This is the 10 of Cups. It's a really great card. It tends to represent things like pride, marriage, celebrations of all kinds. And it tends to be emotional celebrations. And this is referring to the past. What kind of celebrations have you had in the past that have given you your now, that have made the now, right? Okay. Because the now is going to come into cooperation with some other people. And those people are going to cooperate and bring forth resources together to make something really beautiful. And that's really what is happening this week. So don't be surprised if people that you love or are connected to in relationship with connect with you in a really good way to manifest some really beautiful things. Because this is really the 6 of Pentacles. And I feel like Pentacles is usually resources, money, and other things that can be really good for you. And since it's the 6 of Pentacles and there's 3 people here, you can see the way these drag queens are holding each other's hand. And if you know anything about drag queens, you know drag queens, well, sometimes they can fight like cats, but sometimes they stick together like glue. And when they're together, they're together. And that's usually a pretty strong thing. Drag community is a pretty tight-knit community overall. And then in the future, this is black and white thinking. So try not to get into the black and white thinking of things, but also be prepared to move forward and to adjust your thoughts as needed in the coming week. And just be aware that you're going to be able to direct that, and just try not to get lost in the black and white thinking. I think that's the most important thing about the Knight of Swords. But it is about delivering messages and bringing forth things through your actions. Okay. And so I think that's pretty good. Just remember, this is your, remember to celebrate your manifestations and celebrations from the past. And going forward right now, be aware of how you're coming together with others to manifest beautiful things. And as you go forward, this is the Knight of Swords, which of course is about making choices and making deliveries or moving forward with things and taking action. Just beware of black and white thinking.
Great reading. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening and for your interactions and for saying hi and asking great questions. We always really appreciate it. Is there anything else we haven't?
No, except that I just want to let everybody know that we will be on the road. So next week's broadcast might not be live, but we will record it and place it so that it looks like you'll find it in the same way and in the same place, but it might be pre-recorded because we're traveling for a couple of weeks. And it'll be good fun. Don't worry about it. If you do put a question, like if you have a question, just go ahead and put it in the comments. And when I see it come up, I'll just answer it manually in text. Okay? Because I will see it. I will still see the comment. So just
be specific, because if you say it in the time frame, thinking that we know what you're saying.
Although Facebook usually gives you a timestamp.
Oh, cool.
So like, where in the video did they say that?
Yeah. Okay, well.
But it would be better if you were very specific in your questions next week and for the next 2 weeks, because we will be broadcasting a little bit differently. I still will answer your questions. I just might have to do it manually, okay? But I want to make sure that you still have a week forecast for yourself, because at the end of the month, Saturn is moving into Aries, and that will be a really important transit at the end of the month.
Plus, Jupiter is moving out of Gemini.
Yeah, so we have, and that's
coming
up.
A little while longer.
That'll be like July. Yeah.
May 24th is one of them.
That's Saturn.
We've been waiting forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know May 24th because the date stuck out. It was my parents' wedding anniversary.
Right.
So I was like, oh.
Thank you guys for wishing us some safe travels.
Thanks.
And
Appreciate
I'll wish
that.
for all of you to have a great time this weekend with these surprises. I know it's going to be a surprise, you guys. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good thing. And just keep going, and we appreciate you.
Yeah. So take good care. Big hugs, big love, and we'll catch up with you next time.
We are the Soulstrology Forecast.
Thanks for listening to Rainbow Soulstrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars.
Thank you for listening to this week's Soulstrology and subscribing, liking, sharing, and reviewing. We hope you enjoy this dose of Soulstrology and encourage you to embrace the week ahead with an open mind and heart so that you may integrate the deepest of lessons from the stars. Take a moment to step outside and honor the planets, stars, and moon in the sky with your heart. Integrate the messages that resonate and leave the rest for someone else. We deeply appreciate each and every one of you. Always remember that you are a perfectly unique human with an exclusive star map of your destiny, your soul purpose, and your heart's desire. Thank you again for tuning in to Rainbow Soul.